Hello, I'm Lloyd. This is the Dressing Gown Diary. We'll start off with a review of the first round of Six Nations 2018. It all kicked off in Cardiff. It started within 2 minutes. Finally, a ref gave a free kick for a crooked feed. Admittedly, Ali Price did throw it pretty much to the number 8, but it was so great to see that World Rugby are finally getting to grips with this and they're actually taking impact. And then Gareth Davis got done a few minutes later. But what a cracking start. Wales opened up with such expression. Scotland tried hard, battered a Welsh defence that just stood firm and was so aggressive, which opened up opportunities. It's a real shame that Alwyn Jones's pop-up didn't quite come off, because that really would have been one of the tries of pretty much ever. You see props, fullback runners, the Welsh forwards running on lines and offloading exactly when they're supposed to. It was almost Southern Hemisphere-esque, but delight to watch. What a game. It really was electric. No one really saw Scotland nearly being shut out. They were supposed to be the attacking team, and I had talked about how I was worried about how Wales would play. But clearly, with so many Scarlets in the lineup, they just opened up and played with freedom. Moving on, the second game of the weekend saw Ireland. Wow, what a performance for the last few minutes though. The 41 phases to engineer a position for a drop goal that he still had 45 metres. It was an enormous play. The ballsy move though, he had absolute balls of steel. Johnny Sexton with a cross-field kick on phase 35. It's a risky move, but Keith Earls regathered the ball and they carried forward. I mean, it really is a matter of just, it's a W for Ireland, but not much more, because the performance was quite weak. They were quite predictable, and the French defence didn't have too many issues understanding what the Irish attack was doing. France attempted to move forward, but really there wasn't that much in it until Teddy scored a very good individual try, but that came from a bit of luck. The final game of the weekend saw England in Rome. Now, on the balance of it, the result says a massive win for England, but that doesn't really tell the story, does it? Because England, up until 60 minutes, were very laboured. Their attack was stunted, and they weren't able to break Italy down. For me, Mike Brown is now a poor rugby player. I'd love to read his stats. I don't think he even passes, ever. I don't think he's got a successful completion. He runs down Brian Dallies with the ball and ends up getting turned over. As soon as Watson came in at fullback, England, with their pace, Johnny May, Watson and Jack Noel, wow, they were dangerous. But the real find of the weekend, though, has to be Simmons. Whoa, what a player that guy is. Proving that you don't need to be 27 stone and you don't need to be 20 foot tall. This guy is not a traditional number 8 in size, but what he is, he's got pace, he's got gas, he's got ability to go through gaps. He scored 2 tries, set up another one. His tackle stats were off the radar as well. You know, why do you need Billy in that position? Maybe this is an opportunity for coaches to start moving away from just big lumps. Clearly, Gatland is one that's favoured people like Jamie Roberts, but maybe actually realising that it's all about creating space and scoring tries, not about trying to run through people. So, the weekend's games. Wow, there's a lot to discuss. Italy will obviously be fearing an Irish backlash from their poor performance in Paris. The Irish at home will be looking to build momentum as they take it forward to the Wales game next up for them. So it should be an easy win, but this is more about the style that Ireland can produce. Can they create creative flair? Can they open Italy up with ease? Italy's defence is clearly quite poor. They laboured at the end of the England game. So, you know, you could be seeing a 50-point win here for Ireland. It will be a dangerous game for Italy to try and cover. The real game of the weekend, though, has to be at Twickenham. England-Wales, what a match this is lining up to be. Both coaches have been throwing grenades at each other. Gatland naming the team. Eddie Jones then suggesting that Alwyn Jones shouldn't have done what he did at the post-try for Scotland, stop the conversion being taken. He's reported that to World Rugby. I think that's a really poor move from Eddie Jones. And also coming out questioning whether Rhys Patchell actually has the bottle for it. Now, it's one thing saying, hey, he hasn't played at Twickenham before, hey, it's a big game. This is a question, not then questioning whether he has the bottle for that. That wasn't good for me, and Eddie Jones has gone down in my estimations. But I'm quite glad to see Mike Brown at 15. Both teams really need to start well. England fought back, so the last 20 minutes were very strong in Rome, but the first 60 was a bit laboured. Now, whether that's just dusting themselves down, having not played since November, or whether it is actually an indication of where the team is, and maybe they're believing a little bit too much of their of the hype. It is a big ask for Wales to pick up a win. The handicap betting sort of 10, 12 points, but you know, in my mind, if Wales can start well, they've got to sniff. They've got to be in it after 60 minutes, otherwise the game's gone. But, you know, you say that, look at 2015 where England were 10 points up with 15 to go and still managed to contrive a way to lose. It's a massive game. Heart says Wales, but unfortunately at the moment, head probably sneaks England. But don't tell anyone I've said that. Last game of the weekend, it sees Scotland and France, both teams looking to bounce back and reignite their Six Nations campaign. Scotland, in Cardiff, they looked... They didn't look as though they would take it too seriously. Finn Russell was really, really poor. I was very surprised. There was no energy. There was no cut and thrust. It was like they were believing the hype as well about Scotland. Oh, we're a great team and we just have to show up. They haven't. Sorry, Gutland has never lost to Scotland. It's that level. And Scotland haven't won in Cardiff for years. And they didn't really look like doing it on Saturday. So the Sunday game really is a kind of back end of see what can happen and see whether either team will be hoping to reignite their Six Nations with a win. So to wrap up, Freddie's flutter for the weekend. I'm actually backing Scotland on the handicap. You can get about 6.5, 7.5 points for France, but I think that's a decent bet to get onto. The game at Twickenham is very, very hard to call, and there's not much value, I think, in backing Ireland. Even on the handicap, Italy could play well. It's very difficult. Anyway, look, this is Lloyd, over and out. Enjoy your weekends. Let's get those 6 halves of rugby in.